Hey traders, welcome back to Valareso Capital. On today's video, we're gonna go through the market update, and it's been a while since I make one of these videos. I have been traveling a lot and I didn't have any time to make one of these. So we're gonna go through what we were talking in the last video, which was like 2 weeks ago. We're gonna take a look at that price action, which actually played pretty amazingly, and then we're gonna talk about what is the expectation for next week. We're gonna focus just mainly on the indexes, so this is gonna be a pretty quick video. Remember that if you find any of this information useful, just remember to subscribe to the channel. That way more traders can find this information useful. So let's start here with the SPX, and we're gonna go back in time and talk about what we were talking in the last video that I made here on the channel. So we were actually talking about this possible pullback that we saw on the market, right? We were talking about this on this day right here. So what is interesting is that play out pretty exactly as we thought it would happen. So we were talking about doing a Fibonacci projection measure from this high right here to this low right here, and we were expecting a pullback right into that 5,240 area. And you can see right here that this level held pretty amazingly. You can see that we had a shakeout right here on this day, but that was actually a pretty bullish candle. You can see right here that we dropped below this low and we created a little bit of a trap right here. And then of course you can see that right now we had a pretty awesome rally, followed by a pretty bullish reaction to the CPI report that we recently had, and now we're starting to flag right here near all-time highs again. So this is starting to look like a little flag right here. So what is going to be the expectation for next week? So right now you can see that momentum continues to be pretty bullish, and we continue to trend up above this 8 exponential and this 21 exponential moving average. So there's actually nothing bearish about this chart at all, right? We can talk about the possibility of a pullback, but I actually think that it's pretty possible that we just see a continuation to the upside next week, and then perhaps a little bit of a pause. I actually do think that we're probably gonna meet this 5,500 level here on the SPX, and I'm gonna tell you why. So let's take a look here at the RSP, which is gonna be the equal weighted ETF for the S&P. Of course, you can see right here that in this chart, momentum continues to be pretty negative, but I do think that we actually saw a little bit of a pullback already. So I do think that we have a little bit of gas in the tank, perhaps for a little bit of a reaction to the upside here in the equal weight. And that, I think that will give a little bit of room for the SPX to continue to rally to the upside a little bit going into next week. You can see right here that we tested this level right here at 163. We actually found support, and this is actually a pretty interesting hammer candle. So I wouldn't be surprised if we actually see a little bit of a bounce here in the RSP, and then perhaps of course a bounce in the SPX. So that's gonna be kind of the bullish scenario that I'm gonna be looking. And of course, if you guys have been following the channel, you know that I like looking at the UVXY. And you can see right here that the UVXY continues to be in a downtrend, right? Negative momentum. And you can see that we continue to trend below this 21 exponential moving average. And you can see that if we anchor a VWAP, right, I created a little bit of a zone here. You can see that we actually rally into that possible level of resistance. So it wouldn't surprise me, right, if we see a little bit of a pullback in volatility, a little bit of a rally on the SPX, and a continuation higher going into next week. So that's going to be pretty interesting. And now let's take a look at the Qs, right? Because I do think that the Qs are looking pretty interesting. There is nothing bearish about this chart. You can see right here that we had this really nice flag after this really nice bullish candle, and you can see that we just continue to trend to the upside. But what I do want to show you is going to be the equal weighted of the Qs. That's going to be the QQQE. And what is interesting here is that in the QQQE, which is the equal weighted, you can see right here that we had a pretty nice pullback, right? 3-day pullback back into these moving averages. We have a pretty nice bullish candle. So I do think that we have a little bit of more gas in the tank in the equal weighted QQQE, and then perhaps we're gonna see a little bit of a rally on the QQQ as well. So basically, just keeping the video pretty simple, guys. I do think that we're gonna see a bounce. There are a lot of divergences right now in the market. You can see that the DIA continues to trend to the downside. We continue to see a lot of selling right around this 390 level. So I do think that if we happen to see a bounce in the market, then perhaps the DIA is going to be shortable. I am considering that trade for next week, and I'm also taking into consideration the same trade in the IWM. You can see right here that we had this pullback right now here in the market, or basically just a continuation of what has been a trend right here in the IWM, right? Just a continuation to the downside, continuation to the downside. And now my question is, if we're actually going to see that bounce early in the week, and then perhaps a rejection and a possible test of this 200 daily moving average, you can see that the momentum is negative. So that's kind of the scenario. So just in a summary, I'm looking for a possible bounce in the market going into next week, basically just a continuation on the SPX and the QQQ, a little bit more of a bounce in the IWM and DIA, and then perhaps we're gonna find some interesting shorting opportunities in the market. I don't want to talk about if the market is extended or anything like that, because the market can continue to go to the upside. I'm just talking about the setups that are in front of us going into next week. So once again, thank you so much guys for your time. I hope that you have an amazing day, and to all the fathers, happy Father's Day, and I will see you on the next video. Take care and bye bye.